The Seattle Seahawks get to take on a backup quarterback this weekend on their quest to go 3-0. What is going on, everybody? Good morning. Made it to the weekend, made it to Saturday. We got a lot of fun college football coming up later today. Going to be a lot of interesting games, but really, our minds are on tomorrow. Our minds are on tomorrow afternoon as the Seattle Seahawks get to try to go to 3-0 on the season against a wounded Miami Dolphins team. So let's talk some pregame. This pregame video is being powered by BetUS. More on them in a couple minutes. But, yeah, the big storyline going into this game against the Dolphins is Tua, Miami Dolphins quarterback who signed a $250 million contract in the offseason. He's out. He's going to be out a while, and Miami is down to their backup quarterback, and that's what people are talking about right now. Not just because of the loss of the player, but also because how he got hurt and what his long-term status is as the Miami Dolphins quarterback, and a quarterback in this league at all, really, because when you think about it, there's a real concern about all these concussions that he's sustained in a relatively short period of time, whether or not he should come back, whether or not he will come back. But for the Seahawks purposes, as far as the Seahawks are thinking about things, of course, we're thinking about this one particular game, because this is the one game we're playing against the Miami Dolphins this year. We may not play them again for a couple of years after this one. It could be a while before we see the Dolphins again. So really, it's just about this one game, taking on Skylar Thompson, maybe a little bit of Tyler Huntley, and trying to find a way to get it done against the Miami Dolphins, because we have our own injuries, right? We got our own set of problems, and I've been tracking it throughout the week. We're missing some guys. But at the end of the day, this is supposed to be a quarterback-driven league. The NFL right now, even though it's starting to swing a little bit away from it, is a quarterback-driven league. So we've got our starting quarterback out there. He's got most of his weapons. Those guys remain healthy. So you would expect this team to be able to go out there against Skylar Thompson, not even a high-end backup, but a forgettable, barely NFL caliber backup quarterback, and get it done. It may not be pretty. It may not be easy. It may frustrate you a little bit. You might get into that third or fourth quarter not knowing what's going to happen yet, getting annoyed that the team hasn't put the team away yet. You might get Miami's best shot, but you should be able to find a way to win. So that's what I come back to with this game, right? Yes, we have our injuries. We're missing Ken Walker, missing Uchenna Nwosu, missing George Fant, missing, it looks like Jerome Baker. And then you don't know what's going on with some of the other guys. Boye Mafe, Pharaoh Brown. Excuse me. You know that a guy like Noah Fant's not 100%. Leonard Williams is probably not 100%. But you got to put all that away for a little bit here and just say, look, you've got your quarterback and the other team doesn't. You're at home. Miami's flown 3,000 miles to be here. That's not an easy flight to make. They haven't really looked all that good yet this season, even when they had their quarterback. You got to find a way through the injuries, and that's what I believe will happen. That's what I believe needs to happen. So before I go into further depth about this Dolphins-Seahawks game, I want to tell you about my friends over at BetUS. BetUS is the best online sportsbook and casino on the internet. You can head on over to BetUS right now and get some great odds on DK Metcalf to go off against his favorite opponent, Jalen Ramsey. Taking on Jalen Ramsey this week, you can get plus 140 on him scoring a touchdown, plus 700 on him scoring 2 touchdowns. And if you're really feeling bold, you can go plus 5,400 on him scoring 3 or more touchdowns. Or just scale it back a little bit, 1 touchdown or more, and Seattle to win. If you like that bet, you can get plus 202. Nice odds. Head on over to BetUS. They have a fast and easy withdrawal and deposit process. And right now, they are giving away free money. You can get 150 deposit bonus, 150% deposit bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000 if you use the promotional code YouTube 150, and then you will get 125% deposit bonus on your second and third deposits up to $2,000. That's a lot of free money they're giving away. Get on over to BetUS, take advantage of that deal, and throw down some wagers. Okay, so back to the game here. This game is going to be all about, can Mike McDonald figure out the run defense in a game where he knows the opposing quarterback can't really threaten him, right? You're looking at this game and you're thinking to yourself, okay, Skylar Thompson's the quarterback. Maybe we see a little Tyler Huntley, but it's mostly going to be Skylar Thompson because Huntley just got there. He doesn't really have an NFL arm. He's not accurate. He's proven it in a few NFL games already. He doesn't have that NFL quarterback skill set. He's there because there aren't enough good quarterbacks to go around. So knowing that you're going up against a quarterback that isn't really NFL caliber, can you stop the run? And that's what this game is really going to come down to. You know that he doesn't have the arm to beat you deep. You know he's not accurate enough to hit in small windows. You know he's not going to be able to get the ball down the field to his really, really dangerous and dominant receivers in Tyreek Hill and Waddle. So knowing all that, being aware of that, you now need to stop the run. And Mike McDaniel, that Dolphins coach, he brings a lot of creativity with that rushing attack. Nothing is as it seems. There's constant misdirection. There's constant deception in that rushing attack. We've seen it before. We've seen it with the Kyle Shanahan 49ers. McDaniel comes from that Shanahan tree. He knows all that Shanahan stuff, and he uses it very well. We've seen it many times in Miami. He's got really good running backs there. Achan is the guy right now. They don't have Mostert, which is a blow, but they got some guys they can throw at you. They've got the Jalen Wright guy from Tennessee. So coming off a game where New England didn't really pose the ability to threaten your pass defense, and you still allowed 185 rushing yards, you need to figure out a way to get a handle on that, because it's going to be embarrassing if you play a game against the Dolphins at home where they don't have their quarterback, and they have a guy who is probably not even one of the top 50 quarterbacks in the league right now if you were to line them all up, and they run all over you. Right? That's what happened to Indianapolis last week when they played the Packers. That's what you need to avoid. That's what you need to caution yourself about. That's what you need to concern yourself with, because they're capable of doing it. They're capable of putting up 200 plus rushing yards on you. And while I have full respect for that Miami rushing attack, I think that it's extremely creative. I think that it's extremely dynamic. And I think it brings a lot of great things to the table. It's going to be embarrassing if it happens, because they have a quarterback that should allow you to do whatever you need to do to take away that rushing attack. Even somebody like Jacoby Brissett last week, who, he's not a good quarterback, but he's an okay quarterback. He's playable. He's probably top 32 in the league right now. I'd take him over a few other starters in this league. Not too many, but a few. So that's what it's going to come down to here. Can you get on top of this Miami rushing attack? And you're doing it without maybe your best linebacker in Jerome Baker. You've got almost certainly Tyrese Knight out there. He's a rookie. And if Mike McDaniel is excited about anything this week, he's excited about the opportunity to try to use Tyrese Knight's aggressive nature against him with the misdirection and theatricality of that offense. So be prepared for that. So I feel good about this game defensively just because I feel like I know what Skylar Thompson is as a quarterback in this league. But it's not that simple. It's not a mathematical equation right now. We're missing some guys up front. We don't have Nwosu. We don't have Baker. And Miami knows how to exploit those weaknesses. I promise you, there are going to be some plays in this game where Tyrese Knight looks like he got tricked. He's probably going to get tricked a little bit in this game. It is what it is. And don't be surprised if they're trying to find creative ways to get the ball in the hands of Tyreek Hill. A lot of bubble screens, a lot of jet sweeps, a lot of reverses. Getting the ball in his hands that doesn't involve Skylar Thompson having to throw the ball down the field is going to be big here. And be prepared for a lot of goofy stuff in this game. It's going to maybe at points look like a little bit of a college game out there. But you got to be ready for it. You can't be unprepared. You know what Miami's going to try to do. So, with that all being the case, I'm looking at the offense now. I'm looking at the Seahawks offensively, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, what will get rid of the Miami rushing attack? And the answer is a lot of points. If you score early and score often, if you're able to put up some serious points on Miami, you can force them to abandon the run. If you can get up, 3 scores on them somehow, which, look, Skylar Thompson may give you the opportunity to do that because he's that forgettable of a quarterback. If this offense can take advantage and score early, there's really not going to be anything Miami can do. They're just going to have to basically throw the ball into the hurricane and hope it spits out in the right direction, knowing that most likely it won't because they don't have a quarterback. So this offense, it's the Geno Smith show right now. And I'm not down on Charbonnet like a lot of people. I think Charbonnet is exactly what he is, and I think I have a pretty good feel for what he is, and I'm cool with that. And I think that Seahawks fans need to understand what he is and what he is not. And what he is not is a running back that can overcome terrible run blocking. What he is not is a running back that is great running off A gap and B gap up the gut, just trying to run with his power. But I'm not expecting him to go off for like 180 yards in this game or anything like that. That's not what he is as a player. That's not his game. So it's going to be on Geno. And that Miami defense, they're a little bit crippled right now. They don't have their best pass rusher in Bradley Chubb. So that would be one guy that you would have been really scared of in this game. I think the last time we played Bradley Chubb against Denver a couple years ago, he had 2 sacks. That was Charles Cross's welcome to the NFL moment. So now you don't have to deal with him. So one of your big weaknesses as a team, this offensive line, is getting a little bit of a boost from not having to worry about that. No Christian Wilkins as well. He's gone. He's in Las Vegas with the Raiders. And that obviously takes away a lot of the concern you might have about your interior offensive line, which has played very, very inconsistently through the first couple of games this year. Now they don't have that dominant interior force to just wreck the game from the middle. So we're looking at Geno Smith. We're looking at these receivers against those cornerbacks, which that should be a matchup you can win. I know Jalen Ramsey's still there. Jalen Ramsey is not the all-pro force that he once was. Still a pretty good player, can still play, but he's not the best in the game anymore. He's not even really in the conversation for best in the game anymore. He's just another good cornerback. And we've seen DK do well against Jalen Ramsey when Jalen Ramsey was at the top of his game. So, not worried about that. They don't have Xavier Howard anymore, so they don't have that really good top 2 at the cornerback spot the way the Seahawks now do. So, I'm looking at these matchups. I'm looking at Jordan Brooks in coverage. That's something that Ryan Grubb should be kind of excited to exploit with the flood routes. We talked about this a little bit the other night with the Hawks Nest. Exploit that matchup. That's something that teams exploited us on over and over and over again in previous years. Now he's on the other sideline. We got to exploit it the same way. So I'm not really looking at this Miami team and thinking to myself, there's anything that terrifies me defensively. There's nothing on this Miami defense that makes me think, oh, we really got to avoid this. Nor am I really thinking to myself, oh, we should be able to do this all day and they can't do anything to stop it. I just think you got to play your game, got to play a normal game. I'm thinking more about what the Seahawks need to do as a team rather than what they need to do in this game. So if you want to show us another game where you get the ball to Metcalf 10 plus times and JSN 10 plus times, that would make me really happy. That would indicate to me you've got the right priorities here. You're looking at your 2 best playmakers on offense with Walker out, and you're thinking to yourself, how can we get him the ball over and over and over again? Good things are going to happen when we spam the ball to those guys. Worked great against New England. Now we got to make it work great once again. So there's not much in Miami's defense that I'm afraid of. They lost a lot of pieces this offseason, and it's probably like an average defense right now. I will say this. It's going to look familiar. Anthony Weaver is their DC, I believe. I believe he's on that staff. So that's a Mike McDonald protege. So what Geno Smith and this offense sees in practice every week should be pretty similar to what they see in this game this week because it's the same tree. So they're going to throw some tricky stuff at you, I'm sure. And I expect maximum effort from that Miami team because they know their backs are against the wall because they don't have their quarterback and their offense can't score that much. So I'm expecting a game where Miami's defense in particular throws the kitchen sink. They're going to blitz like crazy. They're going to send a lot of exotic stuff. They're going to be playing with their heads on fire because it's not like a typical Miami game where they're thinking, oh, we can score 30 plus points and we don't have to play perfect to win. And you know that's how it is. I mean, these players may not be willing to admit it. But players in the NFL on defense, if they have a great offense backing them up, it's a different mentality than the mentality they have if they don't have a good offense backing them up. So expect maximum effort, though you got to keep it clean. Turnovers would be devastating in a game like this. You turn the ball over, that's how you give Miami free points, and that's how you lose. So with all that being said, I think this is going to be another game that kind of bridges the gap between surviving and thriving. Like, we can't thrive right now. We don't have our running back. We don't have our top edge rusher. We're missing too many pieces to thrive. But I think we can survive and maybe kind of straddle the line between surviving and thriving. So I went with like 23-10 Seahawks. I have a good amount of confidence in the defense to sew up what happened last week and not get run all over. But I'm still not all the way there with the offense yet. I think the offense will be good, but how can you be great when your offensive line is doing what it's doing and you don't have that much of a running game yet? But I think the team has got it. I think the team is going to win. I think we're moving to 3-0. We are catching a little bit of a break. I want to be clear about this. If the Dolphins had Tua, I think I would pick us to lose. I really do. And I know some people would object to that Tua hasn't looked that good this year. I agree, but he is an NFL quarterback. He can play in the way that you need an NFL quarterback to play right now. And I don't think you can say that for Skylar Thompson, so it's a big difference. All right, see you guys later today. We'll get some practice squad announcements later. Should be kind of interesting with all the injuries. I'll be streaming the UW game at 4. I think it starts at about 4. So keep an eye out for that. Maybe another video coming later today outside of that. If not, see you guys later. Go Hawks. And let's get to 3-0 here. We've been given a nice opportunity. Take advantage of it. So, see you guys later. And once again, I want to thank BetUS for powering this pregame video. Remember, always gamble responsibly.